welcome to the StoneFly video presentation. In this video, we'll be adding a failover plan. In the last video, we added a replication job and saw how it executed successfully. So the next step is to add the failover plan so that we can actually fail over to a replicated VM in case of a disaster or in case we just want to test it out. So in your local Veeam backup and replication instance, head over to the backup and replication section. And under replicas, you'll see the option of failover plans. You can go ahead and add a new failover plan. This is the screen for the first step of the failover plan wizard. You'll go ahead and you'll specify the name. In the second screen, you will select the VM replica, which is the replicated VM over on the StoneFly Cloud DR site. Now, for the replicated VM, you can go ahead and choose any one of the available restore points, like I've done over here. And then you'll see the selected restore point for the replicated VM that we'll use to fail over to. And in the next screen, we will be managing the default gateway. Under Cloud Network, you'll see the VMware Hardware Plan 2, which is the network that's been associated with my assigned hardware plan to my tenant account on the StoneFly VM Cloud Connect end. And the IP network is the IP network on which my VM resides, and the default gateway is the default gateway for my VM. This all comes into play when we actually fail over the VM so that the network extension appliance on the StoneFly cloud end takes up the default gateway so that when the VM comes up, everything works normally. That's just giving you a little bit of technical insight. You don't need to bother with that. So we just move on to the next screen, which is the public IP address mapping rule screen. Now, once the VM fails over, we still want to be able to access the machine and be able to utilize all the services running off of the machine. We could have an FTP server running on the failed over VM, IIS, SQL Server, a whole bunch of other services, whatever you have put up or set up on the machine. So in this case, we're adding a very basic RDP rule, which shows that the public IP address, this given one, will be assigned to the field over VM, and it will be accessible using the 3389 port, which is the default port for RDP, and the internal IP address will remain the same of the VM as it was before it failed over. So essentially, we'll have a public IP address that'll be assigned to the failover VM. It will listen to our request on port 3389 and forward it to the internal IP address of the replicated VM, which will be the failover VM, so that we'll still be able to RDP onto the machine. So when we go ahead and click next, we'll see the summary screen. And when we click finish, this particular failover plan will show up under the failover plans under the replica section. Thank you so much for attending this video. Have a good one.